Hey, and welcome back to the Rick and Dash podcast. I'm Dash.
I'm Rick.
And I'm Stacy.
That's right. We are here unscripted and raw.
As always.
And we have Stacy with us today, who is also a giant nerd. And has agreed to be part of this epic episode.
Yeah, so this is a subject that Rick came up with. And
well,
not
not according to the nerds on the internet.
Well, no. According to the nerds on the internet, Reddit discussed this a little bit. Although they went whole cruise versus whole cruise, we're breaking it down character by character.
Well, except for you need to tell them what it is.
All right, so we are having a fight club, and we've set it up in brackets, and this is for characters from Star Trek, from the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and even Voyager, which we don't talk
And not Enterprise, because I hate that series.
Yeah,
No,
it's
because
not
it's not
real.
Star Trek.
It's not Star
I
Trek.
refuse.
It's the days of our lives of Star Trek.
That's right. Thank you.
Stick to Quantum Leap where you belong.
So we have come up with some brackets. Now, we couldn't include everyone, but we took the 16 best. Now, I know that some of you are going to have a real hard time with some of these seedings.
Well, and let's explain who's not allowed to participate.
That's true.
Simply because the advantages are too great.
That would be Data.
Yeah, Data's out. He'd win everything. It's a hand-to-hand combat, keep in mind. There's no weapons, and it's hand-to-hand combat. Data could beat the entire world.
It's true.
So
And never
he's out.
stop. Yeah, he'd just keep beating people up.
We've also chosen to leave out Odo, simply because you don't know if his shape-shifting is going to be there or not, depending on what season you're on. And also, that's kind of a huge advantage.
Being able to shapeshift? Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Turning to liquid and
Also-
then drowning someone? Yeah.
Also, we left out Bashir because he's genetically modified.
Yeah. They min-maxed my stats, Pa. Now I feel guilty all the time.
So,
I just constantly get questions wrong for no reason.
oh my gosh. Okay, so, without further ado, here are the people that we did include. In a particular order. We did seed them 1 through 4.
Yes.
We named the seeds.
Yeah, would you like to, since you named this particular seed,
Sure.
would you like to say, like, so our overall number 1 seed,
In Riker's bedroom.
which is a,
Which is one of the conferences. Like
Yeah,
north,
it's
west, south, east. We have different quadrants and conferences.
it's a pretty heavy quadrant.
Yeah, there's a lot
Riker's
of...
bedroom. There's a lot of activity in there.
more dangerous than you realize.
Yeah.
So number 1 seed, we have Spock. Mm-hmm. And then we put Chakotay in number 2 seed.
He does a lot of boxing.
He does the holodeck boxing.
Yeah,
does.
and his crazy native stylings.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Cisco, of course.
Yes.
Because he's awesome.
And our worst seed of all,
Wesley
Crusher.
Wesley Crusher, who is just poured into that sweater.
So if it was 1 through 16, he's number 16. He is the worst.
I rolled the dice, and his armor is only a +1.
And it's mostly wool.
And his wisdom is 0. I don't know how that worked out. Wasn't even a 0 on the dice, but...
Yeah, you know what I love about Wesley Crusher is that he finds out he can travel through time and stop time, but then later on you see him at a wedding, and he's just dressed normally, like he's dressed like he's back in Starfleet. And he's like a lieutenant. So even after all that,
and
He still chooses to go to work.
And he's a low-ranking member of the crew.
and even worse than that, they ask him how cadet training and the school he's at, and he's like, it's hard. And I'm like, how is anything hard when you have all the time in the universe to study for it, Wesley?
Well, and you're supposed to be like a super genius.
Right?
How does anybody pass if he can't pass?
It's the Yamanashi or the...
Oh, yeah. Kobayashi Maru.
Kobayashi Maru.
Kobayashi Maru.
It's unpassable.
Not if you cheat. Okay, next group up, classically called the Alpha Quadrant. This one features 7 of 9. Kira, Picard, and Geordi, who is our next lowest seed.
Which, I gotta say, Geordi would win if certain things happened. If the lights went out and he could use his infrared sight, he'd have a clear advantage. But this is just a straightforward hand-to-hand combat. And Geordi, you barely even jog. I see you run down one corridor, and that's about it.
Well, no, he rolls underneath the engineering thing as it closes shut a lot.
I guess that's true.
So if he faces an engineering door, it'll be great.
That is part of it. All right. Next region is the Ryza region. Daphs, would you care to read who's in that one?
In the Ryza region, we have Worf coming in at seed number 1, followed by Torres. You can tell we have a certain bias leaning toward the Klingons.
Yes.
O'Brien being number 3, and finally bringing us out is Sulu.
Sulu, although I did in preparation for this watch some videos of Sulu fighting people, and he's in pretty kicking shape.
Yeah, he's not half bad.
And he also has a sword in one of them, and he's like fencing somebody. Although he's not allowed a sword in this.
And George Takei is like 100 years old.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's still like 50.
I know.
Yeah.
He's not 100. I know.
All right, and last but not least, of course, the Delta Quadrant, which is our weakest number 1 seed resides there, and that's Tuvok, followed by Dax, Kirk, and Riker.
Yes.
There's some really interesting matchups in that seed, or in that region. I'm very excited to see how they play out. So, where should we start, Daphs?
Let's start with the Alpha Quadrant.
Start with the Alpha Quadrant?
Close to home.
So you want to start with the 7 of 9 Geordi matchup?
Yeah, I'm glad that 7 of 9 and Geordi were the matchup and not 7 of 9 and Wesley. That would be the most terrifying erection that young man has ever had in his life. It'd be awkward and over so fast. I feel like with Geordi, at least he'd put up a fight, but 7 of 9 is going to kick his butt.
Yeah, she's gonna kick some ass.
He has no chance. Now, are we going to... So it's in a holodeck, by the way. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing's in a holodeck. Is this all playing out? Like, does the lower seed get to choose, or is it just randomized?
So we talked about how we could best even the odds. Like, could the lower seed choose the setting? The problem is that on a holodeck, that gives you way too much of an advantage. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put Counselor Troy versus Gaiden and then have her be like, oh, let's put us in the middle of the worst atrocities in human history and just mess with her mind. Like, no, it's too much.
Psychological warfare.
Right? So it's going to be
very smart, though.
Basic holodeck, and let's cycle through, like, open field, knee-deep water, maybe.
Okay, so essentially it's just even footing for everybody.
It's pretty even footing.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I say that Geordi maybe punches her once, but then she rips off his visor and breaks it in half. And then rips out his heart and his soul.
Can I say that I would like one setting to possibly be a very large ball pit? Simply because I would love to see Worf like failing horribly at walking around in a ball pit.
That's the only setting where Wesley Crusher actually stands a chance.
Actually,
natural
if he
habitat.
matches up with Picard in the ball pit, that would make me so happy. That Patrick Stewart's Twitter handle is him, like his picture is him in a ball pit.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
So I'm pretty sure that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't even need to really go through what would happen there. I'm going to advance 7 of 9 to the next round. Geordi has been murdered quite easily at the hands of 7 of 9. Unless he was able to see some... But hold on, though. Would he be able to see some sort of weakness in her Borg technology?
The only
with his visor before she rips out his soul?
Yeah, the only thing he could do is scream the knowledge loud enough, hopefully give it to somebody in the future to use.
Wesley is the only one nearby who's close enough to hear it.
I mean, he could see what sections of her like implant she has on her forehead. That like pre-Mike Tyson tattoo, like the metal thing going around.
Yeah, she's got that, and she's strong because she's got some implants. She's not quite as strong, I feel like, as a regular Borg because
we did this research and we found out that her nanoprobes got disabled.
The nanobots are disabled, and she no longer has the same memories from the Hive Collective because she would have. In one episode, she's in like this fighting gladiator setting, and she doesn't remember like all of the possible martial arts that every civilization the Borg has conquered. She doesn't have that at her disposal. She's just like trying to punch.
Yeah. But she's still stronger than than an average person. Mm-hmm. She still has fighting skills, and she has cold, hard logic.
Yes.
So she's essentially like Vulcan light.
Yeah.
Right?
She's like Diet Vulcan.
And as you can see, that we've ranked the Vulcans very high because they are 3 times as strong as a man and twice as fast.
Yeah, and their nerve pinch is nothing to mess around with.
Yeah, so Geordi gets immediately murdered.
Aww.
Poor Geordi.
Bye, Geordi.
My next favorite matchup, Spock v. Wesley. Now, to be fair, there were other candidates that probably deserved to be in here over Wesley. I mean, and by probably, I mean definitely. But seeing Wesley Crusher get the crap beat out of him is probably one of my favorite thoughts of all time.
The only thing I'm sad about is that we did not have a Wesley Crusher versus Jake Sisko fight.
That would be so great.
Oh my gosh. Just 2 lanky, awkward teenagers slap fighting. Oh, a missed opportunity.
It makes him so happy.
Maybe there'll be a bonus round.
Okay, so Wesley versus Spock. This is going to go down pretty quick as well, I think.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't think that Wesley has any fighting skills. I've never seen him fight anybody.
Or skills, really.
Well, he's kind of a genius, but he's also... I just don't see him in hand-to-hand doing very well.
He's not traveling through space and time, for sure.
No. He would be traveling through space and time after he got punched in the face.
Yeah. Do you think Spock just talks him into doing it himself, or he's using cold hard logic?
He would just.
It'd be less painful if you just kill yourself right now. Or do you think he just comes up and is like, "It's totally fine. I'll nerve pinch you in the most painless way. It'll be over real quick." And Wesley, of course, is just too terrified to move. He's like a rabbit.
I see a really long conversation playing out where Spock knows that he's going to win, and so he's like, these are the paths you can choose.
I've taken the liberty of making you a chart.
It's a flow chart that shows him like what will happen. You can run. I am 3 times as fast or twice as fast as you.
You will get approximately 14.7 meters before I overtake you.
Then you will be dead.
He just hands him a children's choose your own adventure book called Wesley Crusher and His Big Owie. It's like, well, here are the 4 things this can go.
With pictures like
helpful diagrams.
Helpful diagrams. You can choose to surrender immediately, and I will nerve pinch you to death. But I will also mind meld with you, so I will carry your memories on to the future.
That seems somewhat fair.
I feel like that's probably the way he would go.
I feel like Spock and Tuvok, every person they kill, before they kill them, they will mind meld with them to take all of their memories.
They would do that. And they'd also probably, like, to bait them into making it easy, they'd be like, and I will share any memory or information that you choose.
Yeah.
No, not that. That's gross, Wesley.
No, I won't tell your mom that.
Fine, exploding star, you get to see that. Not the first thing. You have a holodeck for that. Be ashamed of yourself.
I agree.
Poor awkward.
I like that we've set up the tradition that Spock will now mind meld with all the people that he kills.
It's definitely Highlander.
I think
style.
Tuvok will do the same. This is kind of a creepy, like, serial killer move, though, where he, like, takes their memories from them, and then it's kind of like the Giver in a really twisted, more like the Taker.
Although people did die in the Giver, so
that's true.
We're keeping with the theme.
Yes, exactly. It's very true. It's basically the Giver.
So that's
what this is.
This is the Giver. Just stop now and read the book.
Congratulations to Spock. Moving on to the next
so Spock
round.
is moving on to the next round.
Do you think he'd wear the sweater? He collects their skins, just wears the sweater out of there, to mess with everyone else's head.
That would be so creepy.
He weaves a cloak.
I don't think he would do that because that would be kind of twisted for a Vulcan to do. But I definitely could see Worf doing something similar.
Worf would collect the scalps of his enemies.
Worf is about to face Sulu in our next 1v4 matchup.
Oh man. No, Sulu.
Bye, Sulu.
I'd want to give Sulu an epee or a foil, depending on what kind of fencing he does. But then you'd have to give Worf the bat lift.
Well, then basically
Then it's no
Then he
competition.
breaks the foil in half and then stabs
Sulu
in the heart.
These are toys we give to our children. This is a real weapon.
This is a warrior's weapon. I'm just thinking of him killing Sulu and then celebrating with some prune juice. Because he drinks prune juice at one point in time and he's like, this is a warrior's drink.
Yeah, that was in TNG.
Yeah, he loves prune juice.
I imagine that if you were just being creepy like Spock did, he'd make like a really nice blood wine out of his enemies.
Jeez.
Okay.
Where does the success come from? They don't have cows on
the one thing I like about
planets.
this is that this 1v4 matchup, you actually, like, I feel like Sulu's gonna get some punches in. Mm-hmm. The other two, like, Spock v. Wesley, that was just, it wasn't gonna happen. He talks him into just letting him murder him because he knows he has no shot. Yeah. 7 of 9 makes very quick
Just
work of Geordi.
annihilates
Yeah.
him.
I feel like Sulu maybe punches him in the face once or twice, kind of knocks him down.
The only thing I will say is this is where the change of scenery make a big difference. Because if there's any boulders to fall into, off of, or underneath, Worf will do it because he's the worst at everything. Rick sent me this video on YouTube, and it's just like, 16 minutes of Worf getting the crap kicked out of him by people or the surrounding fauna?
The terrain.
Basically, when you have a character like Worf who is like really into fighting and battle, you have to disable him in some way. So like there's just this montage that you can find on YouTube of Worf falling off of things, getting beaten up by the enemies of the Enterprise, the strongest ones, having a giant barrel fall on him that breaks his spine.
So short of that,
Short of
Short
it's
of
an
him
easy
like
win.
having a giant barrel fall on him, but I feel like Sulu does get some punches in.
Yeah.
But he definitely
they're
gets killed by
weak.
a Klingon.
For sure.
Because from what I recall, Klingons can like kill somebody just by the headbutt. Mm-hmm. Like he can break his neck.
Well, and if you believe the lore that children do, Klingons can kill someone just by looking at them. Remember that? Worf is in charge of looking over the preschool or daycare while O'Brien's wife, Keiko, is out, and they're like, "Is it true you can kill someone just by looking at them?" And he goes, "You tell me," and stares at the kid. He's like, and that's the last time that Worf was a substitute teacher.
I feel like
I just imagine him like trying to play games with them, and he introduces all of these like Klingon war games that they teach their
wouldn't
children.
Worf be the best Boy Scout leader though?
He would, but he'd be that guy that's like, there are no participation trophies. That's what's wrong with the quadrant right now.
I feel like
He'd be like, make the quadrant great
You win
again.
or die.
I feel like Picard would have to be the Scoutmaster, or else it would just like go off the rails.
Or Worf would be like, tying knots is stupid. Let's talk about battlecraft.
If you want to disable your opponents, remove their thumbs. Don't tie their wrists.
Yeah, he's like, well, shouldn't we get shelter? No.
No.
A true warrior has no need of shelter.
A quick aside, I think Worf and Ron Swanson would get along wonderfully.
Oh my gosh.
You're-
The box is the reward.
Yes, absolutely.
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They both like meats and probably strong liquor.
And not talking.
And pretty brunette women.
That's true.
They both reference that.
You guys. Worf is Ron Swanson.
He's Ron Swanson in the future.
He's rebirthed in 2007.
Okay, so
whenever.
we can think Sulu gets in some. I think he also hates Klingons because he's from the original series when they're still battling the Klingons.
Yes.
So I think he probably gets some punches in, but then he dies while yelling out for Kirk to come save him.
And that was the end of Sulu.
Yeah. So Worf, moving on to our next round. All right, and in the Delta Quadrant, we have Tuvok versus Riker.
This is probably the closest of the 1 to 4s.
You think so?
Yeah.
Riker has back problems, though.
Riker's actor has back problems. Riker himself does not.
I feel like Riker. I feel like he is the victim of being the very last 4 seed.
Yeah.
If he's a 3 seed, he's got a real shot. But he's going up against a Vulcan.
Yeah.
Tuvok.
And he's
Yeah,
got reach, though. He's 6'3".
Tuvok, though, is a Vulcan.
Is a Vulcan, which still wins every time.
That pretty much wins every
Yeah.
time.
That's the problem. Although, in his favor, Riker is unpredictable. Something that a Vulcan would have a hard time with. He is pretty tough because he does go on that Klingon ship as an exchange officer. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he beats up somebody over there. So his hand-to-hand skills aren't.
Didn't they tell him he had to do that?
Yeah, they were like, you better,
you better
prison
fight
rules or
somebody
something?
the second you get in there.
Yeah.
Pick the biggest guy, even if you lose.
then they'll respect you.
So it's prison rules.
Although Riker, with his schmoozing and just terribleness, he'd offer hey, before we get into this big fight, you want to join me for a cup of coffee or tea? And he'd try to poison him right away. Typical Riker move.
Yeah, totally. You're right.
And Tuvok would be like, no.
No.
But I'll mind melt with you and show you horrible things before you die.
Or he would poison him, and then Tuvok would be like, I could detect the the iocane powder that you have put into my drink. Unfortunately, Vulcans are immune to this form of poison. Although I respect your attempt to try and murder me. But here's the thing about Tuvok. He's super old. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't advanced very far in the ranks of Starfleet.
No.
Isn't he 80 or 100 years old or something like that?
That sounds right to me.
I mean, Spock was already the first officer on the Enterprise.
Yeah, but I mean that's also way.
That's why you're a 4. That's why you're the weakest 1 seed,
yeah.
Tuvok.
You'll move on, but I mean, and come on.
All right, so Riker dies horribly.
Although let's admit, he gets some pretty good shots in.
He does
to
beat
Tuvok.
up some people.
Yeah, maybe there's a
The best of the 4 seeds.
He is. Do you give him a shot to upset Tuvok? Is
No.
there any chance?
No.
Yeah, you're probably right. Unless Tuvok just refuses to participate.
I'd like for him to move on simply because I wish that there would be a way for Kirk and Riker to fight each other. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're both so
They're in the same-
schmarmy or whatever
they're
that
in
word
the
is.
same
yeah,
region.
So gross.
But I don't think it would work.
The overly flirtatious male bracket.
Yeah. What's that face?
Do
he
their
has?
powers just cancel each other out? They're
trying
both
to be-
totally
No, Kirk
unattractive.
definitely overpowers him.
He's trying to be confident.
They're both peacocking, but
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Gotta let me fly.
all right. So Tuvok moving on.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So going back to Riker's bedroom.
That's my favorite.
That's your favorite
conference.
region?
Yeah.
That's famous last words right there.
We have
Going back to
Yeah, right. Way to go, Stacy. In the Riker's bedroom region, we have Chakotay versus Sisko. I like that it's all males in the Riker's bedroom region, by the way.
subtext.
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 Sisko versus Chakotay.
That's actually a pretty tough one.
I think that Sisko would do okay, but Chakotay does that boxing in the
He has
holodeck
several,
all the time.
He has several video montages of him boxing and stuff.
I will admit I know probably the least about that crew.
Yeah.
about Voyager?
Yeah, I mean I've watched a lot of it, but I don't know very much about Chakotay.
I've seen all of it, but it was a while ago, and I have not rewatched it. I don't plan on it.
I know he does a lot of meditation.
Yeah, he prays a lot. He turns into an eagle or a hawk at one point,
Which
I
is
didn't
pretty
understand.
crazy.
It's super cool.
Cisco, I didn't really ever see fight anybody. He gets really bloodthirsty, but in a fire my phasers type of way, not in a punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Not so much in that.
I think Chakotay might win this one.
Well, he does that boxing too.
Yeah, I think Chakotay wins.
He does
even
that.
though he doesn't have the reach that Cisco has. Cisco is tall.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's also scary. He shaved.
That's
He's
true.
shaved his head, and he's
pretty
got that kind of
intimidating.
crazy laugh that he does
Yeah.
towards the end of the show.
And
Oh, see, I never
you know he shaved his head because he has full hair in
Yeah.
some of these throwback scenes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so And that was like last week. So you clearly shave it every morning just to be intimidating.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about his story arc is that he, of all the captains, starts to get the most bloodthirsty throughout. Yeah. I think Kirk started off super bloodthirsty. But I feel like circumstance made Sisko get pretty bloodthirsty when he's fighting those Dominion hordes as they come through the wormhole. So I feel like he would fight pretty dirty. So actually,
maybe Sisko does
I feel like Sisko might upset him.
I don't know. I think we're gonna have a couple upsets. I don't think that this is gonna be our upset.
Really?
Though. Yeah.
Sisko versus Chakotay? I don't know. What do you think, Stacy?
Oh man, well, I was pretty sure that Chakotay was gonna win, but now after talking about it, I'm kind of like,
now you're not feeling
sure.
so.
Yeah. Rick is Googling it.
I'm Googling it.
He's gonna watch the Chakotay boxing montages and then make the decision.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm coming down on Chakotay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna say Sisko. Which means that Rick is the tiebreaker.
I'm going to go Sisko, too.
Yeah?
I think that Chakotay, despite all of his... Like, there's a reason why he's the second officer. Mm-hmm. I think he just doesn't have that killer instinct. I think Sisko has the killer instinct, and he takes down Chakotay.
I'm fine with that. I like Sisko.
Despite his hand-to-hand combat skills, I feel like he just doesn't have it in him. I feel like Sisko, like, he will kick him in the crotch. He will pull his hair. He will do whatever it takes to kill him. So I'm gonna go with Chakotay.
So that's our first.
Sisko.
That's our first
upset. We're gonna have one more, I think.
You think so?
Convinced. Yeah.
There you go. That's better. Okay, so we've got for our semifinal. All right, I don't know if it's semifinal or quarterfinal. Quarterfinal. We're gonna have Spock v Sisko. I'm excited about that. All right, and now over to the Alpha Quadrant where we have Picard v. Kira. Now, I think this is a pretty good matchup, actually.
I think
Kira is a terrorist from Bajor, essentially,
Can
at
we
a young
say
age.
that one more time directly into the mic? She was a terrorist as a teenager. What the F?
Teenage terrorist.
She was hardcore from the very, very early
Well, and she
age.
does a lot of that punching people with two hands, like in the face thing that Kirk started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the double hand
She puts
punch.
her whole body into it. She does the full body punches.
And, she's younger than Picard is and has more stamina.
True. Picard, though, is very... do not underestimate Picard. He kills two Klingons in one of the episodes. They come at him with knives, and he has nothing, and he kills both of them.
That's in that, really, shady corridor.
Yeah.
And, they're like, oh, well... either it's one of two things. Either he says they're trying to assassinate you is a disgrace to my honor or whatever, but he's like, but we knew it was inevitable, and that never got made clear to Picard. He was like, wait, we knew this was going to happen?
Yeah. We knew they were going to try to assassinate
you. Are the worst wingman ever.
Well, yeah, he tries to get killed a lot. There's another episode later on where he is in that he gets abducted by those archaeologists who are out for no good, and he's wearing that thing that he could torture his crewmates with. The captain is, and Picard infiltrates their illegal smuggling operation, and then is beating them all up, and he's kind of playing the part of a serious badass.
Man, I don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah, don't underestimate Picard at your own peril. Also remember that during the movies, he just starts to kill all the Borg with his bare hands.
That's true.
Well, and doesn't Picard... He gets stabbed through the heart.
Yeah, he got stabbed through the heart.
In a bar fart?
Bar fight. Sorry. Bar fight. And he just keeps... he laughs.
He laughs as he's dying, and they have to put an artificial heart in.
Yeah, and he has this weird artificial heart that's in there, and they just never mention it again. It comes up once or twice.
He goes back in time to see what his life would be like if he didn't have an artificial heart.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of Scrooge thing, and then he's like, I wish I'd never had my artificial heart. I wish I'd been smarter. And then it turns out that his life is like terrible, and he's like a second lieutenant, like the lowest of the low.
Wow.
I think they never mentioned that again until like the Borg Queen like talks about it once in passing or something like that.
Yeah, so don't underestimate Picard. See, when I first started thinking about this, I mean, he was my dark horse to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because if Data was in this, he actually knows where Data's off switch is.
That's true.
So that would have given him a big advantage. He is also kind of insane.
Yeah.
He's killed many, many Klingons as a human, which I think is impressive. I've never seen him fight a Vulcan, but...
Hasn't Kira, though, killed a bunch of Cardassians? Like a shit ton of Cardassians?
That's true.
Probably not in direct hand-to-hand.
Well,
but
maybe not.
With homemade explosives and things like that.
That's true. That's the thing. Is like, who is the better hand-to-hand like combat? Because if this was just off of smarts or like being able to adapt to your environment, I'd probably lean Picard.
But that double fist punch.
But she's got a really good I do remember that. Like, that's one of the big takeaways from that show is that she just beats the crap out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm going Kira.
You going Kira?
I'm going Kira as well.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Picard, but I'm outvoted. So it's a good thing we have a three-man team on this because I think Daphs and I would have a real problem. There would be a fist fight.
Although,
And then we'd have to see who would win.
we would have to see who would win that. And
it's only because Molly is saving actual lives.
she's at work tonight.
She's doing the real work. We're doing the Lord's work.
Okay. So, coming out of the Alpha Quadrant for our... Oops, I did the wrong one. So we have wishful thinking on my part. I wrote Picard in. But he has sadly been killed by Kira. Major Kira has killed Captain Picard. And she will go on to fight 7 of 9 in our Alpha Quadrant region.
Oh man, that's gonna be like an epic fight.
It's gonna be a brawl.
I agree.
Barn burner.
So, for the right to fight Worf, we have Torres versus O'Brien.
This is the upset I was looking for.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Really?
O'Brien.
Oh.
I think O'Brien takes Torres out.
What?
He okay, if you can survive.
Torres has a lot of rage problems. He might be able to prey on that.
If you can survive
Maybe.
that many seasons on TNG and then go to Deep Space Nine, and keep in mind, in one of the first formative episodes of O'Brien's character on Deep Space Nine, it's when that guy is I am Taft, which it means like I am prey.
Yeah.
He literally gets in the middle of a man hunt. Not like I'm looking for somebody, like I'm hunting man, the deadliest prey. He gets in the middle of
Deadliest
it,
game of all, Stacy.
and he kills a guy. Like
I forgot
he
about
overloads
that.
all his things, explodes the dude, and then he like takes out guard. He gets hand-to-hand combat from day one.
Well,
in
and he was in the
DS9.
Cardassian Wars as well. With like
That's true.
on
And
the
he's still alive, so you can't underestimate
and he
him.
did a lot of dirty deeds during that war.
Yeah,
Killed a lot of people.
Stace has so much of DS9 to catch up on, and
I
we
do.
need to get to the movies in TNG. We haven't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, I think your respect for the TNG cast is just really lacking.
That's probably
And
true.
I'm really sad about it.
Stacy, it's your biggest personality.
Here's the thing about
failing.
Torres. She is half... yes, I would agree.
That and your narcissism, but mostly that.
That's why when Amazon called me, I was like, she doesn't know anything about TNG. Don't give her a raise.
They're like,
I said, you can just order it on Alexa. She said, screw Alexa. And that's what really got him.
Yeah.
how's her coding? Who cares about coding? She thought Picard would lose.
Yeah, right? So what's Torres? What's pros for her? So she
Tons
does have
of
Klingon.
rage issues.
Klingon strength. Rage issues is a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
That's true. But she's really good with
O'Brien
a,
could
what's it
prey
called?
on that.
The
Bat'leth?
yes.
Did
She
use the bat'leth?
I thought she
She
got the
does.
dagger.
Yeah.
I thought she used a bat'leth at one
You
point.
stab and then it goes ping and opens
Yeah.
up and slices your innards.
Yeah, the
that sounds pretty
switchblade,
bad.
the Klingon
It
is.
switchblade.
She's pretty badass. I just never really got behind Torres. She's okay.
She is
I like
ranked.
Tuvok a whole lot more than I
She's
like
given a
anyone else in
2
that.
seed.
Yeah.
I mean, granted,
Yeah.
she is the second weakest 2 seed,
Yeah.
but she is a 2 seed. She got rated above Picard. She got rated above Kirk and Cisco.
I'm a favorite for O'Brien, though. I know it's my bias.
He's your dark horse candidate.
He absolutely is.
Well, try and convince me, because I'm.
I'm
you
not,
can convince
I'm not
me.
feeling it.
So Brian has gotten into how many fistfights in TNG, how many fistfights in DS9, even from day one. He's survived falling off of like how many ladders and
Ladders?
and power
Falling off
terminal
of ladders does not
explosions.
qualify you to beat somebody in a fight.
I'm just saying he's tough. He's been through
Did
it
you
all.
see the way that guy twisted his ankle on the curb? Don't mess with him.
That's like saying that the British they have a huge advantage because of how well they retreated during the Dunkirk evacuation.
No, he takes a lot of abuse and he can just make it through every time.
He does. I mean, I agree with you. He's quite resourceful as well. Torres, though, is an engineer also. I feel like she's also very resourceful.
She is.
She runs the engineering department. Yeah. She's very smart.
My vote is
very strong.
always going to be on the Klingon.
She's only half Klingon, though. So do you remember that?
But she's more Klingon than he is.
Well, that's very true.
Then yes, by that standard.
But he is more Irish than she is.
Also, okay, I don't usually go this route, but he has a beautiful wife and child at home waiting for him. I feel like there's a little bit of that, I need to survive.
Well,
at
but
all
doesn't
costs
Kira also
rage.
have a kid with Tom Paris?
Does she?
I know they get married.
Oh, that's
Did
true.
they end up with a
They
kid?
do, don't they?
I think they might.
Can we take a time out and say how much I hate Tom
Oh,
Paris?
he's the worst.
With his crap-eating grin. It's like they try to make him pretty the whole time, and I'm like, who are you?
I know. He has that weird face.
I never liked him.
I think that they should have let him just stay evil, and then he would have been very interesting. I would have identified with his character a lot better.
Or give him a goatee or something. My God. He looks like he's
A
Wesley.
mustache to twiddle.
He looks like he's like 5 years older than Wesley Crusher. Like he's like,
He's like Wesley Crusher's college fraternity bro.
yeah, his first year roommate.
Yeah, you're totally right. I would have liked to see Paris v. Wesley. I would actually want to see almost any character beat up Wesley Crusher. Odo v. Wesley.
All right. Rick's
Okay,
Googling
so-
it.
Hold on,
so
I'm looking
are-
it up.
Are you guys both saying
She
Torres?
does have a daughter.
Yeah, she does have a daughter.
Okay.
So they both got families to go back to. So this
Okay.
is that actually almost makes me want to sway more towards her because she also has a family and she's got the mom gene going.
The mama bear.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
that's a tough one. So
It is a tough one.
Final decision. Daphs, your vote.
Mine is still O'Brien.
Stacy.
Torres.
I think we've
Dang
all
it,
lost one.
I'm coming back around. I think I want to go O'Brien, but I'm going to go Torres as well because
All right.
I feel like that's the logical decision. If I was voting for O'Brien, it would be with my heart.
There's no room for that in the Royal Rumble.
So Torres moves on to face Worf.
Battle Royale. Oh, that's going to be a good
That's a
fight.
good fight.
Although, let's be honest.
Battle tactics.
It's like a
It's like a mating ritual.
it's like a
That's true. That's their first date. They fall in
Fight
love.
to the death.
It's like a pit bull mastiff against a pit bull terrier. It's just like the same
Yeah, it's very
energy,
evenly matched.
the same thing, just a little bit smaller in size. That's the only difference.
Just as
Although
feisty.
Worf is still full Klingon,
He's a full Klingon,
and she's
Yeah.
half.
but he was raised by humans. Ooh.
Wasn't she?
She has a human parent. I think human father.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I'm going to get tons of hate mail from nerds about this for not knowing which race was which for her.
I think it was her
Rick,
father.
you're not a Trekkie at all. Do you even know Captain Kirk's blood type? What's Picard's inseam? No, go Google it right now. Look me in the eye and answer me. 33. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Go home.
Go home, you're drunk. All right, now my favorite, Dax v. Kirk.
Ooh.
Oh,
So Dax is like 400 years old because she is technically but wait, is her Trill host get to be, or is it
Yes.
just the slug thing that it's fighting?
Because if it was Kirk versus a giant millipede,
It really would shake things up.
It's more like Dax versus a large textbook Kirk found.
Yeah.
Oh. No, the Trill and Dax and all that.
They're
symbiotic,
symbiotic,
they're all one.
so they count.
They're all one.
Okay.
She knows, like, what, Klingon tactics? And
she knows every
she
tactic.
has
She's
all this fighting
centuries
experience.
of knowledge.
So here's the thing that we kind of briefly touched on before we started this podcast, that you cannot discount in Kirk's favor, is the fact that he's freaking Captain Kirk. And he is by far one of the luckiest human beings to ever live.
Yeah, his if he had stats, his luck is extremely high.
He's got maxed out luck.
And his charisma is extremely high.
Yep, high charisma, high luck. Intelligence, moderate to low.
Physique, low.
It's nuts.
Well, no, in the beginning he was
It's
okay.
okay.
Later in life, he sort of...
I'm thinking like Kirk in his prime when he's on the original Enterprise with Spock and the guys.
Kirk wasn't a bad-looking guy originally.
No, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Stacy is not a fan.
I just really don't like Captain Kirk.
Is that because he kisses that woman and then knocks her unconscious?
The kiss dismiss.
Yeah, the kiss and dismiss. That's a move.
Well, it wasn't my favorite scene of his.
He probably invented the donkey punch.
Oh. Well, there's our MA rating. Mom, I know you're listening to this one. Don't Google that. My parents will love this episode.
Okay, going.
We'll just bleep that part out.
Yeah. Actually, that'll make it even better.
We'll fix
He
it.
probably invented
They'll just
the
wonder what they...
We'll fix it in post.
What?
And then the time when he beep.
Oh yeah, by the way, spoiler alert for anyone who has not seen all of the Star Treks. You're going to be ruined by now.
Anyways.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
Okay. So, Dax v. Kirk. I'm going Kirk. And the reason why is he's freaking Captain Kirk. He beat up that crazy lizard. He survived an insane amount of bad crap that happens to him.
That's true.
He's a renegade, and he just gets away with it. He's also the youngest captain in Starfleet history, and he was only in Starfleet for 14 years before he achieved that rank, which is the fastest anybody had ever done it before. So. And plus, he's also got the underhanded tactics.
That's true.
With the
He fights
Kobayashi
dirty.
Maru, he cheats.
He has the double hand punch.
Yeah, he does. He also has the double hand punch. He invented the double hand
And
punch.
the cannonball roll.
And the cannonball roll.
He throws himself on the ground in front of the guys for them to trip over.
And that's where I actually think that the reason why he beats Dax is because she's seen every move. But every move that Kirk does is something nobody has ever seen or thought of before.
Yeah.
Because nobody else thinks to throw their body sideways into their enemies.
And pirouette into
them and then use himself as a human bowling ball.
Yeah. And it sucks because Dax is one of my favorite characters in DS9, but...
Am I convincing you?
Yeah.
Yes, high five.
I can't believe we just high-fived that.
I think Dax still wins.
No, it's Kirk for sure.
I even got my D20 out in case it was going Dax. We could really use the Kirk luck, and it would be the deciding
Well, why don't
factor.
we do it? Dax
Okay.
has a
This is-
D20.
So,
This is a true nerd fashion.
So Kirk has a what? He's maxed out on luck.
He's maxed out on luck.
So Dax would need a saving throw of what?
14 or higher?
Yeah, no,
Or
even more than that. 16 or higher.
16 or higher? All right, let's see.
Okay. It's a 10.
Aww.
Kirk wins.
Kirk goes along. All right, now we get to see Kirk v. Tuvok
Oh man.
in the quarterfinals. This is a crazy long episode, by the way, but I say that the people.
This is a public service.
This is what they need to hear. All right. Okay, so setting up the quarterfinals. In Riker's bedroom, I can't believe I have to say that. We have Spock v. Sisko for the quarterfinals. Alpha Quadrant, 7 of 9 versus Kira. I like that.
I like that, too.
That's a good matchup. And then we have Worf Torres, also a good matchup.
That's a good matchup.
And then Delta Quadrant, we have Tuvok v. Kirk.
So I think let's start from reverse order. Tuvok v. Kirk. Kirk has the advantage that he has been mind melded with before.
With
So
Spock.
he knows what it's like and what to expect. So if
Yeah.
Spock tried to surprise him
it's
with that
Tuvok.
or use that, or sorry, Tuvok tried to surprise him with that, he would be like, "Nuh-uh, Spock showed me this already," and he'd be able to like withstand it
break
a
out of
little
it.
better.
But Tuvok is still... He still has the Vulcan strength.
Oh yeah,
The one thing
And
that-
the neck pinch.
That's true. The one thing Kirk has going for him is that his best friend is a Vulcan. So he does know a lot about them. So perhaps you would give him a paradoxical riddle that there was no answer to. Would that break his brain?
he'd be like, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" And then he'd smack him around the face with one hand, and he'd be like, "That's what it is." And then starts beating on him.
Except for Tuvok would just take it.
Yeah,
I don't
he'd be
know
like-
if that would hurt him very bad.
He'd be like, that stings. And
Well,
then...
is there any example, though, of Spock getting beat up by Kirk?
I don't think so.
In the movie, the new movie, yes. And he loses horribly. Kirk loses horribly. Spock does fine. In the original, the Orig-Tridge, which is Star Wars. But in the original series, no.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No one beats up Spock except for other aliens.
I think Tuvok has my vote.
I'm fine with that.
As sad as it makes me to say adieu to Kirk, just when we were getting going.
I know, just when he was like...
Because I would have really given him a shot if he had to go up against
well, should
Worf or somebody else.
Should we roll?
Well, if it would have to be that. I feel if we could roll for it, but he would have to get like a really high number. I think.
The thing, if Kirk is going to lose and he's using luck on his side, it's a saving throw. It's not a winning throw. So he'd have to get like what, 18 or higher?
Sure.
I like it.
Let's do
18 or higher.
It's 3.
So Kirk is murdered by Tuvok.
Horribly.
Horribly murdered. But hopefully Tuvok will keep his memory alive by mind melding with him as he strangles him to death.
Not quite a crit, but close to it.
It was basically just fustigation. He just got murdered hardcore.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
There's
that was...
no substitute for good old-fashioned murder.
Yeah. Not even luck. Dang it, I felt like I was really hoping that Kirk's luck would like get him to the final.
He's getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
By the end, he hasn't hit a perfect critical hit.
Yeah.
Has to be a 20 to...
So, Tuvok advancing. I'm impressed.
Tuvok from the Delta Quadrant is the lone
He is...
survivor.
So our one seed has advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Torres versus Worf. Honestly, I think this is pretty cut and dry. I think because it's strength on strength, and Worf is a full-blooded
Full
Klingon, I don't see Torres being able to
But
overtake him.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
O'Brien actually might have had a better shot at
What?
Worf.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
Because they have the same battle tactics, and O'Brien doesn't.
They've also been through the same series. They both were in TNG. They both were in DS9.
Yeah, so he knows him. He knows his fighting style. He might be able to trick him into
I
tripping.
fundamentally disagree with that assessment.
but either way, Worf is winning that one. So
Yeah,
Worf,
I think that's.
Yeah.
I feel like
Worf
that's a
wins.
pretty cut and dry. Pretty cut and dry. Okay, so now Kira versus 7 of 9.
This one is so
That's toss-up.
hard.
This is really hard.
I actually am leaning Kira for this one. I actually feel like.
I feel like Kira is scrappier than 7 of 9.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's got a lot more mental toughness in some sense because 7 of 9 we've seen have mental breakdowns before.
And I also feel like Kira does really well in a pinch. Like, there's so many scenes where she's, like, being grabbed or bear hugged or, like, choked. And, like, the last second she, like, boxes the guy's ears or, like, kicks his shin and then, like, throws her legs out. Like she's overall, she's pretty scrappy.
Yeah.
And she can get out of
Well,
bad
And
situations.
the thing is, she has also I think it has more acceptance of her previous lifestyle, and it's made her tougher. Whereas I feel like 7 of 9 throughout the series is still grappling with that.
Yeah.
I feel like she just doesn't maybe possess that killer instinct in the end.
I think Kira is. She's got my vote.
It's a tough one.
I think this might be the upset.
I feel like that
that gets rid of one of the 1 seeds.
Yeah, I think Kira beats up 7 of 9 and kills her.
Yeah.
I think she rips out her eye implant.
Oh God.
Does whatever it takes. I feel like she's scrappy enough. See, I actually think that I would have given. I think I give Kira a better shot against 7 of 9 than Picard, but I definitely think that 7 of 9 would have gotten a good run for her money in this bracket.
I think it could have gone either way.
Actually, looking at this bracket, I feel like we were kind of unfair to 7 of 9 now, because I feel like Dax is the 2 seed in the Tuvok bracket. I mean, I feel like Picard or Kira could have taken her out.
It's definitely the powerful woman quadrant.
Yeah.
Really glad that wasn't the Riker quadrant.
Yeah.
Riker's bedroom.
But yeah, no.
Now I need to shower.
Were she to be in another quadrant with like Tuvok or with the Torres quadrant, she might have gone all the way to the finals.
I agree. I feel like now that I'm looking at this seeding that she got a bad draw.
Yeah.
She had a really bad draw. I mean, she had a really easy round against Geordi, but then whoever she was going to fight, whether it was Picard or Kira, was going to be tough for her. Whereas I actually feel like Worf got a much better bracket. Yeah. So, yes. And in a sense, so did Tuvok. Spock v. Sisko is our last matchup. I actually think that it goes a little bit further than people would think because, like I said, Sisko is so scrappy, but I still think Spock just kills him.
The Vulcan strength.
Well, doesn't he have some sort of god powers or whatever?
Yeah, God Sisko. He's kind of a jerk.
Well, I was gonna talk about his final ending, but I won't since you haven't seen the end, Stacy.
It's fine.
But suffice it to say, I was very disappointed with how he acquitted himself when he finally had to have a big throwdown at the end of the series. So I definitely go Spock. Spock was the overall number 1 seed. I feel like he cruises into the semifinal. Yeah,
agreed.
So okay, so coming out of the Riker's bedroom region, we have Spock. Out of the Alpha Quadrant, we have Kira, 2 seed. And then we have the 1 seeds for the other 2 regions. Out of the Risa region, we have Worf. And out of the Delta Quadrant region, we have Tuvok. So we've got... Basically, we've only got 1 humanoid really left.
Wait, who?
Well, because the Vulcans have gone through, and then Worf. Kira is a Bajoran, but it's more close to human than
I guess
any of the other ones.
She's kind of the underdog.
Oh, she's definitely the underdog. And
it's starting to make me wonder if we should have chosen 7 of 9.
Well, now is it going Kira versus Tuvok? Are we doing?
Yes.
Okay. So
it's Kira v Tuvok and then Spock v Worf.
I think Tuvok is the number 1 person that Kira could beat, were she to beat one of the other 3.
Ooh, I would tend to agree.
Yeah, well,
I don't think she'd beat Spock, and I don't think she could beat Worf. But I think
probably not beat Worf.
I think any 3 of them have a pretty decent chance of beating Tuvok.
Let me think.
Tuvok's the weakest of the final 4.
Really?
I
actually would say Kira would be the weakest of the final 4.
No, Kira would be.
No.
But of the rest of them, if she had to fight somebody, that's who I'd pick for her.
Well, yeah, but she came out of the second highest rated region, so that she gets that seed boost.
Yeah,
she gets a little bit of a buffer because she doesn't have to go up against Spock. Which I feel like we underseeded Worf. We overseeded 7 of 9.
Maybe,
but that's okay. Live and learn.
But Worf is so bad at everything.
When we do this again, I'm sure we'll do it
after all the hate mail. Yeah.
After all the hate mail. So Tuvok versus Kira. I actually feel like that's pretty even in some ways. Because I feel like at some point in time, Tuvok his like lack of just like killer instinct. Like, as I feel like,
Well, Spock doesn't have a killer instinct either.
Spock has a bit of a dark side.
yeah, he's a lot. He's
But
more.
Tuvok is
He's
old.
actually half human, also. So
Yeah.
he's a lot darker.
Yeah. Tuvok is just old.
Yeah, he's very old.
How old is he supposed to be in the
I don't know.
series?
I know that I remember hearing how old he was, and it was like way too old to only be like like
He's like 100.
like a first lieutenant or something like that in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, considering that humans are able to achieve that rank relatively quickly. And he has like a wife and kids at home, and they're just like, why is dad such a loser? Why is he only the security officer on a small ship after being in Starfleet for 60 years?
Maybe he just really enjoys.
Why has he failed us so miserably?
I started from the bottom, and now I'm just above the bottom.
I would really like to hear some Vulcan rap. I started from the bottom, and now I'm still at the bottom, because I see no logic in moving forward at this time.
The square root of -1 is illogical. Therefore, it is the opposite of me. All other rhymes are redundant.
All other rhymes are redundant.
Chorus, chorus, verse, chorus. Bridge. And.
Preferably in the chords D, A, and G in some kind of...
As they are the most pleasing to the human ear.
This one is for you humans because you like repetition.
Okay, so
All right, anyway.
I find this entire exercise to be a waste of my time.
Are we down to a dice roll to decide?
I think so.
Really? Because I want to go Kira.
I'm fine with going Kira.
I'm okay with going Kira.
Because-
Okay, so I guess we're not going.
So I feel like Kira. I feel like she's scrappy. I feel like Tuvok doesn't have a killer instinct.
Can we agree that they're starting fresh at each one?
Yeah,
like they have
Because
a day of rest.
otherwise, it would be totally different.
it would be very unfair for the humanoid.
Because, well, and because 7 of 9 would have Geordi, so she'd be like totally fine.
She would have
like,
killed him
didn't-
in like 20 seconds.
whereas Kira and Picard would have like duked it out.
That's true. You need to give adequate rest.
So yeah, so we're assuming that each one of these is fresh and ready to go.
Should we roll then?
Now,
Make it fair.
I
Kira.
feel pretty strong about Kira.
All right.
I
let's
feel
do
like
Kira.
I feel good about her making it to the championship round against the Spock Worf Victor.
Yeah.
Tuvok has been murdered by Kira. And I feel like she's wearing his ears
Oh, jeez.
around her neck.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so she's turned a little insane.
Well, I think that she started out that way. I mean, let's be honest.
She was a terrorist.
She was like, basically her whole race was under a genocide.
Jeez.
They kind of make the Cardassians out to be like Nazis in space.
They're
Yeah.
pretty bad.
They're terrible. So if she could survive that, I'm sure that she could kill Tuvok and then take his ears as...
Can we not go with that story?
Nope, that's the story.
No.
Daphs, he agrees.
I agree.
Wow.
You've been outruled. You've been overruled. Okay. So Kira versus Spock or Worf. So Spock Worf. I feel like you want to say Spock? I'm feeling really strongly about Worf lately.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like
I'm feeling Worf too.
Why?
he's hand-to-hand combat
Because
skills.
are unmatched.
Except for maybe Spock, who is incredible at hand-to-hand combat
I
and
feel
wins every single fight he's ever been
But
in.
he's got more agility, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like endurance, it's tough because
I feel like a mind meld would straight up break Worf.
no, actually don't, because I don't think there's anything in there but like murder and duty and honor. Like that's all he would get out of that.
No.
And in fact, it would just enrage Spock.
No, here's what would happen. Spock would mind meld with Worf, and he wouldn't even go the route of like the "I'll show you horrible things" or pain or suffering or whatever. He would go psychological, and he would attack his weakest section, which is
His honor.
Worf's
his son.
No, Worf's human side. Worf is full Klingon, but he was raised by humans. And if he would just go and mind meld and be like, your parents never accepted you. They never loved you.
Jeez.
Right,
yeah,
right?
but you have to remember it goes both ways. So Spock would also be getting all the inner rage and craziness that goes inside of a Vulcan. Inside of a
which
Klingon.
only boosts
Yeah,
the Vulcan.
but it takes away his main component,
Yeah,
which is
it's
logic.
It's distracting.
It's distracting
It
him.
neutralizes the logic.
So we're going Worf?
Well,
I think so.
I don't know if I can vote for Worf going to the finals after watching that Worf sucks at everything video. He's so bad. And even like walking. Like, I think one scene is he's walking down the corridor and this like power relay next to him blows up and he just stumbles and falls. And it's like, bro, you didn't even see it coming.
well, there's actually a large Reddit feed about this, about Spork.
Spork.
Yeah, essentially it's
Spock
Spork.
versus Worf.
Spork versus Worf. It's
Spork.
The Spork fight. There's a lot of varying opinions. Some people just say the Vulcan neck pinch just... Well, that's the other thing we do need to... we didn't really necessarily take into account with Kira.
Tuvok.
Yeah. Could he get in a Vulcan neck pinch and it would just be done?
Again, same thing. She's great in a tight situation.
That's
and
true. She'd
get pinched and she'd be and then she'd rip his ears off. She'd find
And then
some
wear
way
them.
to like
Yeah. What?
get out of it. Man, there are a ton of Reddits on this. My gosh.
Yeah.
This is why I love Reddit.
So this may be one of those times where we should roll then.
Maybe. I don't know if a neck pinch would work on Worf also.
That's true.
I feel pretty strongly about Worf because he fights a lot. I mean, and he also fights through the Dominion Wars.
That's true.
So I actually think that I give Worf a shot at taking out our all number 1 seed and defeating Spock.
Me too. Daffs?
Do you concur? He's
Even
checking.
if you don't, we overruled
Yeah,
you.
we overruled you. It's 2 versus 1. So,
All right.
now Worf is wearing Spock's.
I don't know. Here. This guy, Armchair Marxist, brings up... Sorry, Armchair Marxist brings up a great point.
Well, just the fact that his name is Armchair Marxist
Yeah, I
means
really want
that...
to keep thinking of that guy.
Spock killed Kirk in hand-to-hand combat in one parallel episode. Kirk beat Khan nearly to death in Space Seed. And Khan killed 100 Klingons in STID Ergo. Spock wins against any Klingon.
I don't know if
That's a pretty
true.
faulty logic. He's using the logic of like, because Spock can beat up Kirk.
It's assuming no variables.
Yeah.
Or different fighting styles.
Also, I think that you can also say that Worf is no ordinary Klingon because he is much smarter than an average Klingon.
Okay.
Those average Klingons, they're just like run at you with a knife, and then because they don't think things through.
Yeah.
So what would the odds be that you would give them then? Would it be 60-40, 70-30? What do you think?
I think it's a really close. I think it's 55-45.
55-45?
Yeah, that's the. I mean, I give him an edge. I say he wins, but I actually don't say that he
it
wins.
would be
by
a
much.
bloody fight.
Yes.
So that would be a 10 or higher. Because 11 or higher on a roll would be 50-50. 10 or higher would be...
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so 10 or higher, and we give it to Worf?
Yeah.
Sure. But I feel like whoever... This is actually the championship, actually, right here, because I feel like whoever wins this one... then
He's going to beat Kira.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Kira can do that many.
Yeah.
7.
Oh, well, that's disappointing.
So Spock wins.
So
All
give
right.
it to Spock.
All right, fair enough.
Whoa.
So, but Spock definitely kills Kira. There's no...
Well, hang on a second.
What?
She already beat one Vulcan.
It was Tuvok.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying
It
that
was
she might have-
Tuvok,
she might have picked up
80-year-old, he's never had a command.
Hey, real quick. What's the actor's name who plays Tuvok? Oh, that's right. No one has ever heard of him. It's because he's not nearly as famous as Leonard Nimoy.
I think it's actually Tim Russ, just so everybody knows.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it is.
Crap, sorry, Tim.
So my mom told me that her high school teacher dated Leonard Nimoy.
That's cool.
I know. 6 degrees of separation from Leonard Nimoy.
On the Alexa app for...
Yep. It is Tim Russ.
Tim Russ, wow.
Man, look at you.
Okay.
Nerd card. Dang.
Just throw that down on the table.
On the Alexa app, they did the Jeopardy question, and it was, this actor finished his last tweet before he died with LLAP, Live Long and Prosper. And I was like, oh, it's Leonard Nimoy's last tweet. That's so sad.
And was it?
Yeah.
It was just some random guy. It was Steve Buscemi. Hey, he's not dead. Or is he?
He's dead to
That
me.
guy will live forever, like preserved in formaldehyde.
No, there's no way that Kira beats Spock.
No.
The thing about Spock that makes him a perfect blend is that he's half human. And so even though he chooses to live as a Vulcan, he still has that sneaky, underhanded human way about him where he breaks the rules. Like, if he fought Tuvok, he would kill him immediately. There would be no question about it.
Yeah, hand-to-hand combat, I have to say that having a human side is the only time it's an advantage.
Yeah, because you probably fight dirtier.
Yeah, but Kira fights dirty too.
Oh, she does fight dirty.
She does, but I don't think she beats Spock.
Yeah, Tuvok, I feel like
I don't think she'd beat
he's very
Worf
cool.
had it gone the other way.
No,
No.
I don't think she would have beaten Worf either.
I have to go Spock. He's our overall number 1 seed. And I think he wins.
This is the Duke University winning, though.
It is.
Well, if that, then Kira's like UC Berkeley in this fight.
I suppose.
I mean, everybody loves her, but she just doesn't have... She's going up against a juggernaut. Although now, when I'm looking through this thing, I feel like I would reseed this whole thing if I could. Because I think we didn't give Worf enough credit at the beginning. He probably should have been the overall number 2 seed to Spock.
And had he been the number 2 seed, and 7 of 9 had been the number 1 seed?
Yeah. Then it would have been more interesting, because then I think Worf would have gone up against Tuvok.
And 7 would have gone all the way to the final 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree.
Still don't know if she'd be able to beat Spock, though.
No, I don't think so.
All right, so Spock it is.
Spock. It is.
Spock. You had a good run, Kira.
She did. She's for a seed 2. She took out everyone.
She took down Picard and 7 of 9 and Tuvok. That's a pretty strong run.
That's a decent career.
Spock, on the other hand, took out Wesley.
He definitely had the path easier traveled.
He had the path of least resistance. Although he did earn that by being the number 1 seed.
He did.
But he defeated...
Feels like there's a metaphor there.
Yeah. Wesley.
Check your privilege.
Yeah, essentially Spock just has an easy go of it. And then he beats out the woman at the very end. Meanwhile, she had to work her way through like some of the toughest competition. That's a sad metaphor for society. That's a great way to end. Daffs, thanks a lot.
And on that note, this has been the Rick and Daffs podcast. If you feel that any of us here, mostly Stacy, not me, because I'm very sensitive, got something wrong, you can always write into us at the rickanddaffs@gmail.com email.
And Daffs will be sure to email you back. You don't want me to email you back, because I will be very dismissive and rude.
You know when he'll get back to you. Stardate 42331.
All right. I'm Rick.
I'm Daffs.
And I'm Stacy.
Have a good one.